Hello. We are on lesson 50, and the way we're going to do this one, since our lessons are getting a little longer now, is today I'd like you to go through the lesson with me and take notes because it'll be a longer lesson. I'm going to assign side B in tomorrow's lesson. So today is just a note-taking day. Tomorrow I'll have you do side B as a lesson. So we're going to start splitting up assignments into 2 separate days since they are a little bit longer. And when we get back in school, we might put them together into one day. But for now, this is how we're going to do it. Let's see here, the date direction says draw a 2 5/16 inch line segment. And then we're going to make it a little bit longer. So 2 5/16 of an inch. So first measuring mark lined up with that little dot. And remember, the smallest, on most rulers, the smallest lines are 1/16 of every inch. So there are 16 of these littlest lines in between every inch. So there's 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16 is right there. And then it said we're going to make it 1 11/16 inch longer. So we're going to start at this dot now and go 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11/16 longer is right there. And then we're going to make our long line all the way to the second dot. And then it said to measure them. So make sure your measuring mark is lined up with the first dot again. And take a look, this last dot, so we're measuring 2 of them together, this last dot is right at 4 inches. So if it's not exactly 4 inches, it's very close. If a train travels about 100 miles in 1 hour, fill in the table to show how far the train will travel in 1 to 8 hours. So in 1 hour, it goes 100 miles. So here's 1 hour. We know it goes 100 miles. So that means we have 2 of these in 2 hours. So in 2 hours, it goes 200 miles. In 3 hours, it goes 300 miles. So what we're doing is we're doing 100 times 4, 100 times 5, 100 times 6, 100 times 7, and 100 times 8. Okay, so in 8 hours, it goes 800 miles. How long will it take the train to go 50 miles? So here's the miles, and these are all much more than 50, aren't they? But we do know that 50 is half of 100. So then if we are going to go, I'll put it down here, 50, then we have to do half of this, 1 hour. So we could either write half an hour or 30 minutes. So we could do half an hour or, and you don't have to write both of these, but I'm just showing you, you can choose which way you want to report it if they give you one like that, or 30 minutes, okay? How far will the train travel in 10 hours? So we went to the 8, 9, 10 is only 2 more jumps. Let's keep going. In 9 hours and in 10 hours. 10 is the one we want to know. So in 9 hours, it's 9 times 100. In 10 hours, it's 10 times 100. So that means we had 2 more zeros on, right? So it goes 1,000 miles. You always have to have an amount of what you're reporting for your label, if it's something like miles or hours or inches. I'm I'm gonna skip number 2 because we need that math that we have at school. And so I remember to do it, about how far apart. We are also gonna skip number 2 on your side B tomorrow. Okay. Number 3, draw a pictograph to show the number of books each child read. So a pictograph is a regular graph, except it has pictures in it. So in this case, the book is going to be a rectangle. That's going to be the picture we're going to draw. But remember, the most important part of every graph is the key, right? So we need to say Vinay did 8 books, Janice did 5 books, and Taylor did 14 books. So remember, we're going to count by 2s. So this is 2. We have to go up to 8. 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Done with that one. Janice had 5. Now this is a little interesting. In a pictograph, if it doesn't come to the exact right amount when you're drawing your pictures, then I'll show you what you do. There's 2, 4. Now if I drew another whole rectangle, it would be 6, and that would be too much. So what we need to do is half of that. We need to do a half a rectangle, so we need to do a skinny one. You can do a skinny one like that, or I could have also done a short one like that. Up to you. Okay? So there's 1, 2, and a half of one is just going to be worth 1 book. So we have 2, 4, and 1 more is 5. Taylor did 14 books. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I should have drawn bigger, 12, 14. Okay? Number 4. Number 4, draw the line or lines of symmetry in each shape. So we need to find as many lines of symmetry as there are, not just one. In this one, I only see 1 line of symmetry. It can't go across because remember, the top has to look exactly like a flipped over version of the bottom. Okay, so the corners would have to match up if we folded it on the line. But if we cut it this way, these corners would match up if we folded it. These corners would match up if we folded it. Okay. This one is interesting because all 3 sides are exactly the same and all 3 corners are exactly the same. So we can cut it like this and all the sides and corners would match up. But we can also cut it like this and all the sides and corners would match up. And we could also cut it like this and all the sides and corners would match up. So we can fold on any of those lines and they're going to be a line of symmetry. This one has 2 lines of symmetry. We can fold it this way and it would match up both sides. We can also fold it the long way and it would match up both sides. However, with a rectangle, you can't fold it from corner to corner because it would not match up if we folded it. With a square you could, with a rectangle you can't. It will take Crystal and her mother 80 minutes to drive from their house to the airport. If they leave their house at 1 p.m., what time will they arrive at the airport? So we're leaving at 1. And how many minutes are in an hour? Can you remember? All the way around the clock is 60 minutes. So to the next hour is 60 minutes, and then we're at 2 o'clock. So we've used 60 minutes of our 80 minutes, because we have to do an 80-minute drive, right? So the next little bit is going to be 60 plus what equals 80? 20, right? 80, take away 60, 20 is what we have left. So 2 o'clock plus 20 more minutes is 2:20. And this is when they arrive. And remember, this was 1 p.m. We didn't cross 12 o'clock. So the answer is 2:20 p.m. Find each sum or product. So these two are going to be add them up. These two are going to be sums. These three are going to be, I'm sorry, these four are going to be products. So we're going to multiply those. So if you need to get your multiplication chart out, certainly do that. But I do want to see that you did work and didn't use a calculator. So they lined up the decimal points, and 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 7 is 20, plus 3 is 23. 2 goes up. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 6 is 15, plus 1 is 16, 17, 18. 8 goes down, 1 goes up, and this is where a decimal point goes, right? 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 7 is 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. 2 plus 2 is 4, 5, 6. Okay. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 8 is 13, plus 3 more is 16. 1 goes up, 6 goes down. 9 plus 4 is 13, 14, 15, plus 7 more is 22, plus 1 more is 23. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 6 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 8 plus 2 is 10, and 2 more is 12. Okay, now these. When we are doing multiplication with 2 digits, first we go this times this, then we go this times this, okay? Now, the other way you could do it is 60 times 6 and 8 times 6 and add them up. So I'm going to show you both ways. The first way is like this. 6 times 8 is 48. That means 8 goes down, 4 goes up, and we're going to add this one when we get to it. 6 times 6 is 36, and 4 more is 40. Okay. I'm going to do that one more time, and then I'll show you a different way to do it. 7 times 4 is 28. That means 8 goes down, 2 goes up, just like when we're adding. 4 times 3 is 12, and 2 more is 14. Now, the other way you could do it is like this. 8 times 50. Well, we know that 8 times 5 is 40, and when you multiply 8 times 5 is 40, and when you multiply times something with a 0 at the end, you can just add a 0 on. So 8 times 5 is 40 with a 0 on the end is 400. So 8 times 50 is 400 plus 8 times 3 is 24. And then add them up. 0 plus 4 is 4. 0 plus 2 is 2. And 4. I'm going to show you that one more time. Okay. 9 times 70 is pretty much the whole problem. So 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 7 is 63. That's it. So there's a few different ways you can do that multiplication. Practice both if you want. So I wanted you to take notes on this today. If you have time, go over and start side B because there's quite a few things to do on here. And I will send the assignment out to do side B tomorrow, but we are going to skip number 2. Have a good afternoon.